My man of society, it is your host with the most, Shadow Loke, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you hit the like. It's free. It don't cost anything. You help my channel get into the algorithm. I would highly appreciate it. It's free, bro. It don't cost a damn thing. Go ahead and you know help me out. Now, what I wanted to talk about was actually something I was having an argument, well, debate with two individuals, right, who are Caucasian, who were talking down on my raza, pues, on the Mexicans, right? Saying that we're the problem, we have always been the problem, we bring nothing good to the table, have never brought nothing good to the table to America. We have never, all we have ever done was brought nothing but problems to America and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Bunch of dumb stuff. Ignorance at its finest. Now, it's funny, when people claim to be patriots, right? They claim to be, all about their, countries and whatnot, but they don't know anything about their countries, right? Like when you said Mexico never, brought nothing to the table, when it comes to helping the United States, but it has. You know what I mean? It has even helped the United States in wars. When you talk about how has Mexico helped the United States? It helped the United States a lot. Not only, first of all, in World War II, right? In World War II, there was issues between Mexico, and the United States and Great Britain and all that. They had, tensions, you know what I mean? With, sanctions and boycotting, the sale of merchandise and stuff like that, right? And at the time, Mexico used to, do trades with Germany and all of that, right? But then the relationships between Mexico and Germany started to fall apart, right? Because of the ideology, right? They weren't really they really didn't like how, the Axis powers were, their points of views, right? The Axis powers being Japan, Germany, and, Italy. So, they started to, cut off ties, and, the ties with the United States and Mexico started getting better, right? Because Mexico viewed the United States wanted Mexico on their side because, they didn't want the opposition landing over there and then, hitting them from that side, right? So it was the best of interest, to try to convince these countries, right, to join in the war. But Mexico, Mexico and its people viewed like this is not our war, like we have no beef in this, like, like let them fight it out. Plus, Mexico was in no condition to even, start a war with anybody. You know what I mean? Military wise, we weren't there. You know what I mean? We were struggling ourselves. So, for them to declare, war would, when they seen that they weren't even fit for it, it wasn't as best of interest for them. Right. And it wasn't until Germany sank two Mexican boats, right, who was taking in crude oil, right? They sunk them. The Pedro Diano and Faja de Oro was sank by Miami Beach, right? They sunk the ships, right? The ships, went in flames. Germany hit them, and that Mexico had the Mexican flags on their boats, right? And they were, they were cool, right? There was no beef, but then, Germany at that time, their strategy was that bomb any boat that tries to come through, right? Because Germany was fearing that people were taking supplies back and forth, right? So any boat that came across right here, just sink it, right? That way people don't get their materials, right? But they fucked up because, those were Mexican boats. Even though they had Mexican flags, they still sunk them, right? And so obviously Mexican people died. Right, so that's when President Camacho said, "Chale." So President Camacho, I think it was June 2nd, 1942. No, 41. No, yeah, June 2nd, 1942. He declared war on the Axis powers, right? Germany, Italy, and Japan. He declared war on them. Even though the people weren't really all too happy with it, because they were like, hey, this is not our beef. What are you doing? Whatever. But like I said, they had already, attacked, Mexican boats. So it was on and cracking. Now, obviously, we didn't have the military capability to, go to war, obviously. But what we did have, we had an air force, right? We had a pretty chingon air force, Mexico, right? And the United States and Mexico then, started working together. They started, get working together. As a matter of fact, you say that we don't help the United States, but in World War II, believe it or not, Mexicans were the sole providers to war material for the United States. Not only that, for farmer labor as well, right? Because of the shortage. So Mexico helped the United States in both that. Not only that, but when it comes to the war, I think it was, how much was it? It was 50,000. I think 50,000 soldiers, right? That signed up, to go to war, right? They were trained by the Americans and they would go with the Americans. 50, and that's just, we're talking about just Mexican. We're not even talking about the Mexican Americans, because they said that was 30,000. Right? So that's a whole lot of Mexicans, bro, that are right there helping you fight, for you saying that we never helped you. And you know what the saddest part about all of this is? That while they were training these pilots and training these soldiers, because they had to come down to Texas for their training and stuff like that. They were getting discriminated against. They were getting they were a whole lot of racism, bro. They were getting called names and even by the United States soldiers, bro. Can you believe that? These guys are helping you right now, go to war. This is your war, because Japan bombed you fools in Pearl Harbor. They're helping you, and you fools still have the audacity to be, insulting them? But, the Mexicans, knew what they had to do, because, they felt, great pride in fighting for the greater good, because they didn't like how, they didn't like the vision that Hitler and them had, you know what I mean? That their people shouldn't be treated like that. And then not only that, but attacking, our boats. But we weren't the only one. It wasn't just Mexico. Brazil too. Brazil, jumped on board too. Out of all the South American, which is Mexico and Brazil. But anywho, so they went and the Mexican pilots, the Mexican airplanes weren't all that to par, let's say, for World War II. So obviously the United States, shot them some bombers, right? So it was the 201st, squadron, right? And they gave themselves the name the Aztec Eagles, right? And the Aztec Eagles, for your information, for you saying that, we never helped or nothing, they were involved in 700 combat missions, right? 700 combat missions, and 90 of them were 90 of those missions were like really big, combat missions, right? In the Philippines one, because they shot them to the Philippines, right? Because in them joining the war, even though their beef was with Germany sank the boats, whatever, they were fighting the Axis powers, right? So the United States, seen that, since they don't really have that much ground troops or be able to send an army of ground troops, right, to, like, let's say, land in Germany and stuff like that. They decided to send them, the Air Force, down to the Philippines, right? Because we were getting our asses handed to us by Japan, bro. As a reason why we had to drop the nuclear bombs, because they were letting us have it, bro. So the Mexicans succeeded, right? In all their missions, they succeeded. In their bombing missions, I think we only lost like 4 men, out of the whole squadron. And they dropped, these are facts, you could go look it up. They dropped more than, I think it was more than 2,500, bombs, blowing them up. They took hostages, man, right there in the Philippines, man. They were letting the Japanese have it, bro. In order for our infantry, to pass through and provide ground fire. And the reason why, while we were getting these victories was because, the Mexicans were letting them have it, allowing our soldiers now to maneuver and do what they got to do. You know what I mean? They let the Japanese have it, bro. And as a matter of fact, the even sadder part about this is all facts. You guys could go look it up. While they were in combat, right? While these jets are flying and they're bombing and everything like that, the United States soldiers are arguing with the Mexican soldiers, bro, like telling them, like talking shit to them because they view them as, less. They see themselves more chingon, that the Mexican guys are beneath them or whatever. So they start arguing on the radios, right? The Mexican pilot and the American pilot start arguing. So he tells them, "Hey man, right now when we land right now, homie, it's gonna be on and cracking." And he was like, "Kyle, homie, whatever." So when he lands, the Mexican pilot, he was short or whatever, he was a short man, a short, young, a soldier, and the United States guy, he was big, he was a big dude, big boy, and he seen this guy and he was like, "Well, you still want to fight?" And the Mexican guy goes, I don't give a fuck if you're bigger than me, like let's go. So they started throwing blows, and the United States guy, it was only a little fight, whatever, a little scuffle. The United States guy was like, "Hey man, you got heart, homie." You know what I mean? And they shook hands and they became friends, bro, because he was like, "Man, you really gonna not back down, even though you smaller and everything." That's right. And after that, the relationships between American and Mexican soldiers, was a lot better, because now they earned their respect, I guess. But the fact that you have to do that in the time of war, right now when there's battles, is crazy, bro. The ignorance on some individuals. When these Mexican guys are risking their lives to help you, and you guys are still treating them like shit. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But yeah, the Aztec Eagles, earned their rights and their place in it. And I know it's something that in the history books they don't teach you. It's something that they don't really say. You guys could go look it up. This is all facts. And it's sad, bro. It's sad that they don't teach our raza de our gente, that they don't discuss these kind of things, because it's important. We did help the United States a lot. As a matter of fact, in World War II, they used a lot of Mexican soldiers and Mexican Americans as cannon fire, bro. They were sending them out. The Mexicans were their guinea pigs, bro. That's why there was a lot of Mexican casualties in the war, because they would send them first. Whenever they rolled up, they send the Mexican first. The Mexicans were getting shot. Now they know where the gunshots are coming from, and they were the guinea pigs. These are facts, bro. Every time they sent any squadron forward, it was just squadrons of Mexicans, and they were wondering, like, man, how come they're not? It's only raza. Americans were scandalous, homie, and that we're helping them, but we're the bad guys, right? But we're the villains in all of this. Bad enough, you guys took our lands and shit like that, but we're always the villains, huh? It's always us. You guys never do nothing wrong. But that's not to push no hatred towards one side or another. You know what I mean? Because I realize that not all Americans are like that. Only something ignorant like that. So I'm not gonna say that. Oh, the mentality of American, the mentality of only some ignorant people. You know what I mean? There's a lot of cool Americans. I'm proud to be American. I'm proud to be Mexican American. Just like all the soldiers that volunteered for the war and signed themselves up. Because in how can I say, for them signing up for war and everything like that, they were granted citizenship, right? So they became United States citizens. Even though people were saying, nah, they're immigrants still. No, they became citizens, bro. That they traded. Okay, we'll fight the war, but if you grant us our citizenship, yeah, go ahead. You know what I mean? And the Mexican, the Aztec Eagles, all they asked for, right? Because the President Camacho told them, and for you guys' bravery and service, if there's anything that you guys need or want, just let me know and it'll be done. They asked for if they could just put a school in the town that they come from, bro. If you just put a school right there, homie, that's all we're asking for. And yeah, they put the school there, and the school's still there. But that's all they asked for. But we're selfish and our assholes, and we're the villains, huh? These are facts, bro. About our culture, our cultura. So yeah, Mexico was involved. It was the once and only time that we declare war on somebody where we send our soldiers somewhere, right? Because all the other wars that Mexico has fought was defending our land, right? People were coming to our land and we were defending our land. But this is the first time we actually send, our troops, somewhere. The first and last only, But yeah, those are fun facts. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave it in the comments. But that's the Aztec Eagles. And we have helped America, bro. Don't be so ignorant. We out.